Organic corn earned substantially more than conventional corn over the past 5 years. So, why aren't more farmers making the switch? Simply because average profits don't tell the whole story. Some organic farms actually earned less than the best conventional farms, and the difference between the highest and lowest performing organic operations was far greater than it was for conventional farms. Today, we'll look at what separates the top performing organic farms from the rest and what this means if you're ever considering transitioning acres or obtaining land that's certified organic. I'm Michael Langemeier, professor of agriculture economics at Purdue University, and this is Purdue Commercial AgBrief's quick research-based insights to support better farm management decisions. Today, we're comparing 5 years of FINBIN data from the University of Minnesota on using conventional and organic crop enterprise data. We'll look at how crop yields, prices, costs, and profitability compare, but more importantly, we'll discuss what these numbers mean for management decisions on your farm and the decision about whether you want to certify some ground as being organic. Let's start with production. Organic crop yields were generally lower than conventional yields, no surprise there. For example, corn yields averaged about 24% lower, soybean yields were 23% lower over the 5-year period. Oat yields, on the other hand, were 36% lower. Winter wheat yields and alfalfa was similar. If yield were the only factor that mattered, conventional production, particularly for corn and soybeans, would clearly have the advantage. But that's only part of the profitability story. Organic crops receive substantially higher market prices. Over the 5-year period, organic corn generated about 80% more gross revenue per bushel than conventional corn, while organic soybeans generated more than double the gross revenue per bushel. These price premiums more than offset the lower yields. Of course, higher revenues doesn't automatically mean higher prices. Organic production also comes with higher production costs, particularly in some situations. Weed management is substantially more intensive. Crop rotations are often more complex, and labor requirements tend to be greater. So the real question isn't whether organic crops bring in more revenue, it's whether they leave more money at the end of the year. According to the FINBIN data, they often do. Organic corn during this 5-year period generated average net returns about $310 per acre higher than conventional corn, while organic soybeans averaged about $325 per acre higher than conventional soybeans. These are significant differences, obviously, and help explain why organic production continues to attract interest. But here's what I believe is the most important finding in the study. The biggest difference wasn't the average profit, it was the variation between farms. For conventional corn, the difference between the highest and lowest performing farms was $866 per acre. I did not make a mistake there, $866 per acre. For organic farms, this spread exceeded $1,400 per acre. So obviously some farms are doing really good and others not so good. The same pattern appeared for soybeans, although the median organic soybean farm earned substantially more than the median conventional farm. Some organic soybean producers generated returns that were similar to the lowest performing conventional operations. And so just because you're organic doesn't mean it's going to be more profitable. It depends on management. So what does this tell us? It tells us that organic production offers greater profit potential, but also requires much stronger management to consistently achieve those returns. Experience, weed control, crop rotations, marketing, and overall management appear to matter even more in organic systems than they do in conventional production, with a highlight on weed control. It's very important to control weeds in organic systems. There's 2 additional points that are easy to overlook. Most organic operations don't grow only corn and soybeans. Also, there is a transition period of 2 to 3 years required before a field can be certified as organic. Net returns during those transition years can be relatively low. Let's look at the crop rotations. Organic rotations typically include crops like oats, winter wheat, or alfalfa. In this study, those crops generally produce returns that were similar to, or in some cases lower than, their conventional counterparts. That means you can't evaluate an organic system looking only at the profitability of corn or soybeans. This is a very important point. You must evaluate the economics of the entire crop rotation. You also need to consider whether reliable markets exist for every crop in that rotation. Case in point is alfalfa. There may not be a market for organic alfalfa in your area. Depending on where your farm is located, finding profitable markets for organic small grains or forages in general can be much more challenging than marketing organic corn or soybeans. So what's the takeaway? If you're considering organic production, don't focus only on the price premium. Focus on whether your operation consistently managed the production system required to earn that premium. Run realistic enterprise budgets. We have some examples on our website. Test how sensitive profitability is to changes in yield, prices, and production costs. Also, evaluate the returns for the entire rotation, not just your highest return crops such as corn or soybeans. The bottom line is this: organic corn and soybean enterprises generate substantially higher average net returns over the past 5 years, but they also showed much greater variability from one farm to another. Success in organic production isn't simply about earning higher prices. It's about having the management system, experience, and marketing opportunities needed to consistently capture those higher returns. You can read the complete analysis using 5 years of FINBIN data by visiting Purdue Center for Commercial Agriculture. If you found this Ag Brief helpful, subscribe for more research-based insights to help strengthen your farm management decisions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.